How's it going? Nice to see you again on a pretty perfect evening here on the island. As always, thanks for joining me for a beach talk. Now, when I climbed back in Cagua in Argentina, we did what's known as double carries up the mountain. So when we got to base camp, for example, we carried food and fuel up to Camp 1 and then came back down to base camp. Had a rest day, and then we would move the rest of our gear up to Camp 1. Now, when we did the same up to Camp 2, and then Camp 3, Camp 4 in the summer we did in a single carry. So we had around, between the walk up to base camp and then up the mountain, there was probably 12 to 14 days of arriving into camp and the summit day, arriving on the summit, where you reached where you were going to get to, where you were exhausted. Every camp, it was because the air was getting thinner, it's getting tougher, but every day every milestone that we made, every camp we made, just arriving so tired and being reminded in briefs and from our guides that it would get better, you'd recover, and you trusted the process. And even when you got to the summit, I remember just us taking some videos and some photos and radioing in that we'd made it, but still we had a nice recollection from our guide of this is what we've achieved, just like arriving into every camp. And at the same time, remember, we're not done yet. We got to actually get off this mountain. And we had quite a tough 2 days of picking all our gear up off the mountain as we went down through the camps and picked up items that we cached, that by the time we arrived back at our base camp, I think all our backpacks were around 100 pounds, and we were just so tired from the whole thing. Now, with businesses I work with, early stage companies, there's a lovely similarity because every business gets going, it gets pre-revenue, gets launched, some sort of soft launch, initial revenues. There's always a buzz, the same sort of thing. We're on our way, we're going up, but it's the same sort of milestones that sometimes it gets to a milestone of 10 grand revenue, 20, 50 per month. But there's a sense of fatigue and exhaustion that kind of kicks in, or deflation. Yeah, it's great, but I don't have enough energy to celebrate it. And I have a client that's done amazingly well where new channels have meant it's got from 100 grand a month to say around almost touching 250 a month. So a huge increase in a very short space of time through all the hard work and all the graft and everything that they've done. But you still have to sometimes, I feel like I'm the guide telling the climber just to recognize the achievement and to celebrate it. So important. You're only going to be going higher. It does get tougher, but at the same time, just recognizing when you walked into base camp or when you walked into Camp 1 shattered. I'm working with business owners now who are getting to these milestones and just feel pretty tired and exhausted with the efforts that they've got there. So, yeah, it's worth bearing in mind. The celebration's obviously quite funny because on Aconcagua, we only celebrated back down in base camp. Our guides had successfully got some cans of beer and some champagne carefully wrapped up and up to base camp without them bursting on the back of mules. I have to say, having lost 2 stone in 14 days, just burning calories, getting to the top of the mountain, that is the dizziest I've ever felt after a glass of bubbles. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. Hope you have a nice evening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers for now.